Yes, sir. Going live. Yes, sir. What's going on, Marcus? Marcus in the building. Yeah, got an interesting conversation for tonight, Marcus. Um, I was talking about this the other day, while I was driving and streaming at the same time. So, I was in and out. So I wanted to come back and, talk on this, just talk on this topic here, now that I'm home chilling. So we can go in. We can go in a little bit more thorough. So let me give it a few minutes. Let a few more people come up in here. Let a few more people come in, and we can get started. 105-pound division and 145-pound division. I mean, you made some good points the other day too, Marcus. So we'll go in again, and just talk about this. I think I was on for maybe like half an hour, but I'll be on a little longer tonight. So yeah, we'll get started here in a minute. All right, so a few minutes here, we'll get to talking. Yeah, before we get started too, man, make sure y'all hit the thumbs up, because I don't know if all my notifications be going out. So if you're just coming in, hit the thumbs up on there. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Hopefully that helps my notifications go out, because I don't think they've been going out lately. Yeah, Marcus, that's right. It's Megan Anderson, man. All right, man. So, yeah, we got a few people in here. All right, welcome back to another Combo Breaker 99 live stream. It's none other than Combo Breaker 99, right? So, yeah, man, this is a live stream I was doing the other day. I was driving. It was just a topic that hit my mind because I saw this interview, where Dana White, he was talking about, well, he was asked about the atomweight division and the featherweight division, and not much was really said. If you go back and it was in my notifications, like what they recommend on YouTube. It was an interview by, what's his name, the Schmo, the guy who does the Schmo interviews. He was asking Dana White, a simple question. He asked Dana White a simple question on the atomweight division and the featherweight division. He was basically like, what will we get first? Will we get rankings, a solid ranking system, solid rankings for the featherweight division, or will we get an atomweight division this year? And all Dana White could say was, I don't know. That was the first thing he could say. Hey, what's going on, Cedric? That was the only thing he could really say. He was like, I don't know. Atomweight division is something he would like, but he's still not sure about the atomweight division really coming to light yet. I mean, I don't know if that's his way of saying it's being worked on. I don't know if he's just kind of being quiet about the whole thing, but it doesn't really sound like anything is really like a go yet. Like the wheels aren't really turning on this situation yet. So with that being said, the other day while I was driving, when I saw that interview, I was just wondering to myself, like, which division really makes sense right now to get going? Which division should he really get the wheels turning on? Atomweight division or the featherweight division? And that's what I want to ask y'all. Which division do y'all want? Do y'all want the 105-pound division, or do y'all want the 145-pound division? Some of y'all made some good points the other day. When was I on Monday? Yeah. Some of y'all were making some good points, so I had to get off about why they like the featherweight division. Some people saying, they want the atomweight division. I mean, we can go down the list, the pros and cons of both divisions. I mean, if you get either one of them going and you got solid competition in both divisions, I think both of them can thrive. It doesn't really matter, Either one of them can get going as long as you got the fighters that got the talent and the fighters that can bring in money. Because I think I could go down a list of atomweights and a list of featherweights that could be marketable in the UFC. I think it's kind of like an even game right now. Let me see the chat real quick. Yeah, Joe Schmo, Cedric. Yeah, Joe Schmo. He was talking to Dana White, and Dana White was just like, I don't know. Marcus said he wants the atomweight division. All right, so that's one for the atomweight division. Give your reasons why too, Marcus, why you want the atomweight division. I mean, I got some of mine. I'm gonna go down. I got a little list written here, but give me some of yours in the chat. Marcus Bell said featherweight division equals old news. It does, but at the same time, it's just like he ain't really giving it no light, so we can't really say it's like old news. You know what I mean? Like if you pay it some attention, it'll grow. Like I don't think people are bored of it or really tired of it. It's just the fact that he didn't really give it no shine. Like if you give the division the fighters, it'll thrive. Just like bantamweight division. Bantamweight division got the fighters in their division, but there's a bunch of older fighters right now, so it's kind of dried up. But if you start transitioning new blood up in there, people are gonna come back to 135 pounds. Cedric I say feather, Adam would. Okay, Cedric C says featherweight division. Adam wouldn't fit good in the UFC. Atom weights would not look good on the UFC pay-per-view card at all. Only on fight night. Atom weights doesn't scream quality fighters to me. It screams amateur. I agree with the first part, Cedric. I agree with you on the part where it wouldn't look good on like a pay-per-view card, but they definitely have quality fighters. They're far from amateur. That was something on my list too that I had here. Why the atomweight division is why it is a good choice. Because they got a lot of talent. They got a lot of skilled fighters. They got skilled fighters from all over the world. So that would be a plus on why to bring in the atomweights. But yeah, they're far from amateur. But I know what you mean as far as like quality opponents, like big marketable opponents. It'd be hard to push them on a pay-per-view. If you were to put them on like a it would let's say it would really be hard to put some of these Japanese fighters, if they were in the atomweight division, on a main event or co-main event here in the United States. But maybe if you were to do it in like Abu Dhabi, if you were doing it in Singapore, if you were doing it in China, then maybe, yeah, you could have them as like a co-main event or a main event. But Yeah, that's a good point as far as uh, not looking good on like a pay-per-view card. But the Atomweights are quality, man. The Atomweights are very, very, very talented fighters. Like, I think there's a lot more skilled Atomweights I can name more so than featherweights right now, or maybe about even. TJ said, "Look at the UFC fan base. Women 130, women 135 and under works. It's about what's hot, not about the quality of the fighting." Oh yeah, I know that's trolling. Shit, it's about the quality for me. I'll stop watching the day you don't get quality fights anymore. Cedric said, "What I mean, what I mean to give more depth, the way they fight looks like they're just scrapping around and not really skill versus bigger division." No, man, they got skilled fighters. You got to look at Rising. You got to look at Rising. Look at Invicta. Look at Bellator. They got some skilled atomweights, man. Like some of them, some of them fighters be banging. They be banging. You got wrestlers. You got kickboxers. You got strikers. And to be in the atomweight division, you got to be more so skilled because the knockouts ain't gonna come. It's like in boxing. The lower divisions, you get to see more skill. Like in boxing, you get to see more skill in like the featherweights and lightweights and junior welterweights and so on. And Gary Baldwin, what's going on? Gary said atomweight, it has more skilled fighters than featherweight. Yeah, I that's one of my pros of the division. Cedric said I like Adam for one championship, Wonder Girl, and then Marcus said, seems to me atomweight division can ride alongside of the strawweight. Atomweight's better than featherweight division. Okay. Marcus said, also hoping for featherweight is a pipe dream at this point. I don't know, man. To bring in the featherweights, it wouldn't be a pipe dream because atomweights is kind of a pipe dream too, because Dana's not even really like, he said he don't know where he's at with that either. He was like, I don't know. He's at the same point with it, Said, I got to get more into it and I'll be more open-minded. Yeah, man, you got to look at all these organizations, man. Like, look at these fighters in Japan. Look at these fighters, on this other side of the hemisphere, man. They're a lot of skilled fighters. They just don't bang, man. I know not many people are fans of Jin Frey, but she's an atomweight. So if you just seen her alone, you might not really be thrilled. You might not be knocked out of your socks. You know what I mean? You got to do some research on the atomweight division because, yeah, they're skilled. All right, Savage WMMA fan, what's going on? So let me see. Yeah, I wrote down my little pros and cons here, man. I'm just typing this stuff up. Because like I said, Dana White, he said, I don't know where I'm at with either one right now. He's like, I don't know. Because if you just join a Savage, I was just talking about what Dana White said in an interview with the Schmo. Joe Schmo, he asked him, what are we going to get first? He was like, will we get the rankings for the featherweights or will we get an atomweight division first? And, Dana White was like, I don't know. And I was just going down the list of the pros and cons for both divisions. Like, what division do y'all want? A lot of people saying atomweight. Cedric said he wants featherweight. Marcus said he wants atomweight. Gary said he wants atomweight. And let me see. Marcus said, the reason why I stated that the featherweight division is a pipe dream because the UFC hasn't focused on the division for 3 years. Yeah. Let's see if he does that with the atomweight division. I think he just took the wrong approach on making the featherweight division. Because I got some pros here, man. 105-pound division versus 145. I mean, here, I get what a lot of y'all are saying. For the atomweights, a plus is that you have a lot of fighters all over the world. This is a plus here for the atomweights. You got fighters from all over the world, so you're going to have a mix of talent, and you're going to have a lot of fighters who think they're number one. from all over. You're going to have the rising champion if they sign Hamasaki. That's one. Then you got Alicia Zapatella, who feels like she's number one in Invicta FC, right? So you can grab these champions from these different organizations. And then you got some fighters in the UFC, small strawweights that can move down to atomweight, and they could challenge. You know what I mean? They could be a big challenge for some of these fighters coming in from different organizations around the world. So I think that would be those are the interesting points. Those are the good points about the atomweight division if you're to bring it in. And like I was saying, I had this on my list. You got a lot of skill-based fighters. The atomweights aren't knocking people out all the time. Submissions, of course. You can be a submission artist in the atomweight division, but there's not going to be a lot of knockouts. So you're going to get to see a lot of skill-based fighters. You get to see a lot of fighters, use their skill. Which is, if you're a fight fan like me, if you like to see the sweet science of mixed martial arts, then you will be treated to a lot of good fights in the atomweight division. And again, like, the UFC could capitalize off this division right now because you have different organizations from around the world that are building 105-pound fighters. Bellator had a few. I think LFA had a few. And, one championship. Who brought that? What's her name? Hold on. Who said Angela Lee? Somebody. Is it you, Cedric? I think somebody deleted it. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I see it. Yeah, you got Jean, Angela Lee, Supergirl Wonder. Yeah, so you got all of these fighters that are being groomed, and, they're being built up in their divisions, in their organizations. So once you bring all them together, you're going to have like a good place to start. You're going to have a solid, thriving division to start at, So those are some pluses with the atomweight division. Marcus said, Invicta has about 9 women in the featherweight division, while Bellator has a complete roster for the women featherweights. Yeah, I'm going to get to that in a minute. So jump into my pros for the featherweights. See, for the featherweight division, I don't think that it's really just the fact that it's a dead division. We can actually say that the bantamweight division is kind of dry right now. The featherweight division doesn't even really exist because they're not really giving it light. You know what I mean? Like, there's really no plant there to die because there's not really there's no garden there to really die because there's not a garden. The bantamweight's full of dried up tomatoes. I'm not trying to be mean, but you know what I mean. Like, the bantamweight division is this garden on the left side where you got a few good greens here and there. You might have some little cucumbers growing here, but you got some dried up areas here and there. But on the right side, the featherweight's a garden. Doesn't even really have anything in it. You got a few plants here and there. So it's not really something you could say, oh man, this thing is fully dead. You never really gave it the chance to thrive. Start trying to put something in there and see if it can grow. See, if you start putting some featherweights in that division, then after that, maybe we can start to build off something. It'd be one thing if we said, oh, we got a bunch of nobodies in the division, a bunch of unskilled fighters, but we don't even have that in there. We only have like 4 or 5 featherweights under Amanda Nunes. So there is potential there because we have a belt. The division is already there. We have an actual belt that Amanda Nunes holds. So all you have to do from there is bring in more fighters than you already have. Because you got Felicia Spencer, of course, you got Zara Ferreira dos Santos, who's kind of falling down the ranking. Of course, you got Megan Anderson, you got the champion. But you also have a lot of bantamweights who are squeezing down to 135. Again, they're the bantamweights that are killing themselves to make bantamweight instead of being featherweights where they need to be. they are kind of contributing to a dying bantamweight division, you know, because they can't really get to their full potential. See, if you let these girls that want to move up to featherweight fight at 145, I think you would see more potential there. You see more potential out of those fighters, which leads me to another reason why people like the featherweight division, KOs. You know, 145 is going to bring some exciting fights. Back to a good point that you brought up, Cedric. If you do featherweights, you can definitely see featherweights as a co-main event or a main event if they're bringing knockouts. You know, if you see big women up in there that are ready to throw down, and they have a good character and they're marketable and they're talking the trash, they got the mic skills, and they're bringing knockouts, then you could definitely see some featherweights headlining cards, no doubt. You know, because it's just like in boxing. You know, it wasn't until like the later years when Floyd Mayweather came around that the welterweight division and the lower weights really started getting spotlight. But back in the day, what division did everybody like? Come on, you know what division everybody used to like back in the day, all the way from, you know, the old days up to now. I mean, it's not the best division like it used to be, but you know, up until like the early 2000s, it was the heavyweight division, right? So everybody likes a division that brings knockouts. Let me go back up here real quick to the chat. TJ said a lot of pretty Asian and Latina fighters at atomweight. That's right up the UFC fan base alley. Yeah, it could happen based off of that. Yeah, I'm not saying I don't want it to happen, but yeah, it could happen off of that because that's what it brings in. But then you're gonna see a lot of unskilled fighters if you're just gonna go by faces. You know, you're gonna get fighters like, if we base it off of that, then we're just gonna get a bunch of, you know, Rachel Ostoviches and Pages that have to get cut eventually. You know. Marcus said, and Invicta has about 9. Yeah, I read that. Has about 9 in the featherweight division, right? TJ said, notice how UFC annual review shows ignore the women. The UFC is about sex appeal, #1 with the women. That's why I'm talking about the quality of the fights is pointless. Page fans ain't having UFC fight careers. Yeah, I mean, and you see where she's at now. I won't say I won't say the quality of the fights are pointless, because why do you think Joanna is still in the UFC? Even, you know, after like 3 losses, you know, why is somebody like her still thriving versus somebody like Paige? Like Paige is the eye candy, but if she was that profitable, shouldn't she still be kept in there? You know, she had a UFC career in the beginning because she did maybe have some potential, you know, signing this pretty young girl at like 18. She could have gotten the tough house, but she was too young at the time. You know, you had to be 21 and get in there. But they went on and brought her in because she had the appeal and the potential. But now it's like, no, there's still a point a pretty face becomes dead weight, you know. I feel like Joanna could probably go on like a 4-fight losing streak and they still keep her because she puts on good quality fights, you know. Marcus said, you know, women's featherweight is bad when you have women in bantamweight who can go to featherweight and choose not to go. Yeah, he's not really giving them that option, I don't think. Norma Dumont isn't a bantamweight to me. She may have started there, but I think that's over. Yeah, I don't think she is a bantamweight. She's not a bantamweight at all. I mean, what did she come in at? Like almost 138, 139 that fight night? Cedric, see, that's why I wish Irene Aldana had it. She just don't got it. And Holly is good until a title match. Yeah. Yeah. And going back up to, you know, the whole sex appeal thing, if you bring in atom weights, I still don't think bringing in atom weights for just sex appeal is going to bring in higher numbers. I still don't think if you bring in those fights, it's going to be it's going to lead to main events for anything, because Michelle Waterson, versus Angela Hill, Michelle Waterson is considered eye candy. Why does she have a lot of why doesn't she have a lot of main events? If Michelle Waterson has decent skill, and if she's really, really eye candy, why hasn't she had like so many headliners? It still comes down to skill when you put a woman as the co-main event or the main event. If you're talking Chris Cyborg, Amanda Nunes, Valentina, Joanna, Rose Namajunas, even when Ronda Rousey was around, of course, headliners, Holly Holm. When you look at these fighters, it's still coming down to their accomplishments and what they're able to do. TJ said Paige had a very long run for her skill level. Yeah, she did, because she was inactive a lot too. You know what I mean? Like, there were times when she was going on for long periods where she could kind of prolong that, that career. You could kind of let it extend. But other than that, like, she didn't have no like major career. Everything else she did for herself was not really in the octagon. It was out of the octagon. She could say UFC fighter, but she wasn't really pulling in people off of anything she did in the octagon. It was all stuff she could do on her own, if that makes sense. Savage WMMA said, I agree. Joanna has lost 4 of her last fights, and she ain't no damn looker. The UFC still values big fights, maybe not as they could or should. Yeah, like, I know what you mean. Yeah, they value big fights, but there's still a limit to it, because they feel like men don't want to see those highly skilled fighters. Like, they still do value the big fights. They still value big quality fights. But at the same time, they're still not pushed as hard. That's why I was still say men don't really know the women, even in title fights. They don't know the names of these women in title fights sometimes, most of the times. Lookers get longer runs despite losses. Paige Van Zandt, Waterson, do they have to have a main event? Yeah, but I'm not counting those Sims. He's great. Yeah, Joanna wants a crowd and a title shot. I'm gonna talk about that too tomorrow. I'm gonna talk about Joanna and her crowd and her title shot thing. Like, I agree with some of the stuff Joanna was saying. Very few things. Fine, just some fine line stuff. I agree with Joanna on that, but I'll talk about that tomorrow. I'm gonna probably do a video on that. Ronda Rousey is the only champion the whole world ever knew as a woman. Yeah, like worldwide, Ronda Rousey is like a household name, because even my parents knew who she was. And I know my mom's like, oh, this who is this? You know what I mean? Like, whether you loved her or hate her, people couldn't deny it. You know what I mean? That's why I think even with the atomweight division, we're going to have a lot of fighters in here that aren't necessarily going to be, the atomweights aren't necessarily going to be main event type fighters. You might get a few co-main events here and there, but it's still going to be hard for them to be like on that main card. I can see a lot of them being on prelims, of course, and on the main card, but not as like co-main event, unless you have somebody in there big time that makes a big name. Somebody like Hamasaki, do you see her, or Elisa Zapatella, or Angela Lee like being a co-main event someday, or just thriving in the division on a main card? For me personally, like, I think the featherweight division is there to be fixed. It's all in if you want to fix it, but I think if you just wanted like a brand new start, I could go with the atomweight division. You know, that's my whole point with this conversation, is that I want to know from y'all though, because I feel like, you know, if we talk about it, eventually somebody's going to say something about it, right? You know, eventually people are going to say, oh, well, what division do they want? You know, they'll kind of listen to the people on the smaller channels, you know, the underground channels. They'll start listening. Or eventually, you know, when the underground people start talking, then, you know, the mainstream people on YouTube, they'll start taking our stuff, you know, which I've seen some people do already. You know, they'll start taking our ideas and then they'll take it and run with it and say, oh, okay, well, this is what the census says, you know, 50 or 120, 50 to 120 people say, oh, I want the atomweight division, but nobody wants the featherweight division, you know. So I know if you talk it up, you know, people will start listening. Roger, what's going on? What's going on, man? TJ says Zapatella won't survive the UFC atomweight division. Yeah, that's yet to see, man. That's why we got to have it go down. I mean, I personally, like, you know, from a technical eye, I've seen her in some tough fights where if somebody would have just executed a little bit more, Zapatella would have got out of there. You know, there was a few fighters that they had her hurt. Zapatella got to work on the boxing skill, though. I'm telling you, you know, I'm not just saying that because I'm a boxing fan, but she got to work on the boxing and the striking skill. But yeah, I think, you know, either division is cool with me because I'm gonna watch either way as long as you got good quality fighters in there. Oh, just finishing up the work day. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm off today, just chilling. But the atomweights, if you want to start from square one, that's cool, because again, the thing about the atomweight division versus the featherweights, it just seems a little bit more appealing to people. Not just the physical thing like TJ was talking about, you know, the eye candy thing, but it seems appealing because, yeah, you're bringing in fighters from different countries, you know. I know the featherweight has fighters from different countries as well, but you got all these fighters in these other organizations that have become champions, you know. You have the potential to say former Invicta champion, former Rising champion, former One champion, bringing them all to the UFC. And that's all if they want to go. You know, who knows? Like, Rising might be setting these people up better financially than the UFC is. So it sounds easy too. That's another thing. That's a minus right there. It sounds easy. You know, it sounds easy, but will all these fighters that we name want to go to the UFC? You know, in the long run, the exposure might be better in the UFC, but what if the money is better in one of these other organizations too? You know, for the long run, for you know, their retirement, the possibility of retiring after their fight. You know, they might want to stay. They might want to stay in Rising or something like that. Rousey left her stench in that bantamweight division. Now that whole division smell. So yeah, I just think that there's a lot of potential for both of the divisions. It's just all in how they execute them. And right now, they're not really executing the featherweight division in a good way, you know. And the same thing could happen to the atomweights. Like we say, like I said again, we could say that all of these fighters here will make a good atomweight division, but if they don't nurture it the right way, or if they don't bring in the right fighters, give the right offers out, and give it the right exposure, then it'll fall flat on its face, just like the Tough House featherweight competition did, right? Because again, what was the purpose of bringing in featherweights into the Tough House if they're all going down to 135, right? It was bad execution on their part. And you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why they let that slip out of their hands, because from what I was seeing, the featherweights were putting on good performances. In the Tough House, you had a lot of blood, you had a lot of knockouts, you had some good knockouts from Macy Chason, You know, she was blasting through girls. You know, even aside from her, there were some other fighters in there that were putting on good, exciting fights. So I was just like, why are we making these fighters move down to bantamweight? You know, why are we not taking advantage of this opportunity? So the same thing could happen to the atomweight division. You know, same exact thing could happen there. Might not want to. That's why I say I'm not trying to get my hopes too high on it. Like I did the other video about a month ago where I was building the atomweight division, but who says all 15 of them women would actually go to the division? You know, some of them might not like the offer. They might like to stay in rising, like I said. So it's just one thing, 15, say 6 of them might want to go. And then after that, Dana, they might do something crazy and get some fighters we never heard of instead of getting the fully potential fighters. Okay, well, Cedric said, I say grab Julia Budd, Velasquez, Denise, Angela Lee, but Dana wouldn't do that. He wants to grow his own fighters. And it probably wouldn't be that easy. It probably wouldn't be that easy to grab them because they're probably in long contracts and they might be in better standing. Like the offers might be better, the money or the situation might be better over there for them. It's not that easy to do. Juliana Velasquez just won the belt too. Denise Kiel-Holtz, I know I said I'd like to see her in the UFC, but she just re-signed her contract. I did a video about that. She just re-signed hers. So it's not that easy to just say we grab. Marcus said, if you have Holly getting ready to compete for the title again, that should tell you something. And to be honest, the strawweight division is still that division compared to the rest of. Yeah, strawweight division is the best, man. Like there's no denying that. And what's crazy about it is, if one retires and the other moves up, there's still like a whole gang of strawweights in there ready to put on a show. Cedric said these contender series women have no star power. They couldn't even promote Antonina. She was on the prelims of her sister's co-main event pay-per-view card. I don't know. Yeah, like some of them don't have the star power. They're not. Some of them don't have the character. Some of them just don't have that it factor that a lot of people want. But they definitely had the skills. They definitely had the skills, though. Let's see. Roger says, Cedric, how can he grab them when they have contracts with Bellator? Yeah, you can't just grab those type of fighters. And again, like, just because it says UFC, a Bellator fighter is not going to say, oh, UFC, I want that. No. It's all about the money, too. It's all about what they're offering. All champions are usually tied with the champion clause with the organization they fight for. Yeah, they are. See, from the outside looking in, some of us will say, oh, UFC is the end game for a lot of fighters, but not necessarily. I think it all comes down to what's going on behind the scenes. Like if you're a fighter, then you'll say UFC is for market, for exposure. Then we say for Bellator, it could be for other reasons where, self-promotion, you get the chance to promote your own brand. Money might be better. I think Chris Cyborg, her situation with Bellator is probably the best it could ever be versus what the UFC could ever offer. Peter said Kat Zingano complained about her money, but she was happy to sign with Bellator. Yeah, that's Kat. I mean, see, Cyborg, she negotiated her deal. Her deal is better. I don't know what Kat's got going, but I know Cyborg, hers is better though. Her deal is real. because again, she can promote she can promote herself. She can promote herself. So yeah, those are some points I had. But in a few minutes, I'll do like an open link if anybody want a link, because I know I was talking to Robert. I think it was you the other day. I asked if you wanted to give me your thoughts on this topic here. Oh, let's see. People and malls. That should be a sport. What's going on there? They always be doing that. Okay. But yeah, featherweights right now, yeah, I know it's almost like a bust when you think about trying to build that division. It's just too much, man. They make it seem like it's such a difficult thing. Like, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but it seems like to me you would have a lot of women in the bantamweight division right now that would like to move up and stop killing themselves to make 135s. Why can't they just say, yo, Dana, this is where I need to be at? You look at women with the frame like Macy Chiasson. Maybe if she was a little bit bigger, she could argue it and say, no, I want to stay at featherweight. She would have to be like pushing Megan Anderson's size to really get in there, but she falls just somewhere in the middle where she can get down there just enough and have to take on opponents at 135. And then, there's some fighters who can fight in between. Chelsea Chandler says she can fight at either weight, so you got fighters like her. They would come in and fight 145 gladly. Ernest, what's going on? Ernest said Alicia Zapatella is pretty marketable, even though UFC, even if atomweight come, even though, hold on, Alicia Zapatella is pretty marketable though if atomweight comes to the UFC. Yeah, I know. What TJ was saying, I don't think she'll last, but I think she would be one of the first ones they grab because she got the belt and she is marketable. Marcus said if UFC decides to get rid of their featherweight division, Scott Coker will be licking his chops. Yeah. See, yeah, like with the number of featherweights he got right now, Dana White, the number of featherweights Dana White has right now, it's enough that Scott Coker could say, I'm taking everybody. He could just grab everybody. It's not like a whole damn roster where he has to pick and choose. It's enough to say, I have enough to make my division look good by bringing in a Megan, Felicia Spencer, and then he could bring in Danielle Wolf because you do have some 1-0 fighters in Bellator. That's what a lot of people forget too with Bellator. Bellator does have fighters making their MMA debut. See, the UFC is kind of different. UFC, that's that organization where everybody does feel like you should be worth something, you should be established. So Danielle Wolf, she should probably be over there right now. In my opinion, she should be in Bellator. And with the way it is going with the 145-pound fighters that can't squeeze down to 135, they'll go over there sooner or later. Like Felicia Spencer, she's already faced the best that she could fight. Eventually, when her contract is up, she could go to Bellator. Who did she fight already? She already fought Chris, Amanda, Megan, Zara. So she's already fought the whole division. There's really no future in it right now. So a lot of the fighters a lot of the featherweights that are there now in UFC, they have to kind of be thinking of their options, in my opinion. I mean, like I said, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with them, but I think they need to be thinking of other options, because I told you, when Dana White was asked about it, he was like, I don't know. You know, Joe asked him, are we going to get rankings for the featherweight division? I don't know. That was his answer. Are we going to get an atomweight division? I don't know. See, at least the atomweights, you know, their situation is better because they're in other organizations. But for featherweights that are in the UFC right now, you know, they got to think. TJ said, when's the Elisa Zapatella versus Megan Anderson fight? It's soon. Whoever wins gets their division. Oh, wow. He said I got 50 on Zapatella by submission. Not if that right hand lands. If that right hand lands, I don't think Alicia would ever get up. Probably have to bury her. Let me see. Roger said, then it won't matter. You'll see a huge decline in full-time women in MMA. There'll be two classes: those who make a lot and those who make nothing. The middle of the road 45, 150K group disappears. Yep, that's true. Yep. You're gonna have them superstars, and then you're gonna have them fighters just like in boxing, them fighters who still work construction, you know. Shout out to those fighters though, man. That's hard, man. I remember there was a fighter I was watching the other night that was like, after his title fight, he gotta go to work the next day. I was like, damn. You know? Savage, the only person that Felicia hasn't fought is Dumont, who she likely beats. Yeah, I think she beats her too. But yeah, on this second part, like I said, I'll do my little open links here. You know, Savage, if you wanted to come in again, you know, I think I mentioned that to you the other day. Yeah, if you want to give me your thoughts on which division you want and why, I will email you a link. Marcus said, if Norma next fight is still at bantamweight, then that will confirm that she's still a bantamweight, if she can squeeze down to it. Man, if she fully squeezes down, it might make her sick. You don't know. That might really like hinder her performance too, man. Genesis, what's going on? Yeah, like, cause Norma Dumont, I won't say barely, she didn't make 135 full on, but if she squeezes down and like drains herself, that might not be good for her. So Norma, she might be another fighter that wants to consider Bellator. Yeah. All right, TJ, go ahead and get back to the grind. He just said he got to get back onto the grind. All right. So, what do you think, Genesis? Do you want the featherweight division or do you want the atomweight division? And why? What division do you want? Got to know. Let's see. Cedric said next time. Hold on. Yeah, I really don't know what Dana White's holdup is with some of these divisions, man. Is it money thing? Like, come on, like with featherweights, that division will be making money, in my opinion, man. For the past 3 years, it could have been a nice little thing going there. Genesis said, I want both. They both have amazing things to offer. I agree. Yeah, they both do. Like, that's what I was talking about in my pros here. I think the I think the atomweight division offers some nice skill fighters. You know, you're gonna get some nice skill based fights. You're gonna see a lot of fighters from different countries, like I said, with technique. That's a good thing. And then when you got the featherweights, boy, if you put that division together, you can get some knockouts. Cause you know I like to see knockouts. I like this. Oh damn, Genesis, you want to use Zoom? Hold on, I got the StreamYard up here right now. I got that up in the OBS thing. Hold on. Ernest said, and then randomly signing Daniel Wolf. It looks like she's taking off from MMA since she won against Tennant, right? Yeah, I mean, everybody else that came from the Contender Series, you know, Kay Hansen, Corey McKenna, they've all got fights lined up. Gloria DePaula, she's got a fight lined up. Who else? Who else got a fight lined up right now from the Contender Series? Just some of those fighters I named. They got fights lined up. So where's Danielle Wolf at? I'm just curious, man. I'm like, yo, that's not really in a good direction. Like, to me, that's not a good direction for Dana White to say I'm trying to build the featherweight division by bringing in a 1-0 fighter, and then never having that fighter have a fight date lined up. You know. Yeah, Baze has a fight. She's got a fight lined up. So yeah, you got these fighters lined up for something. That's what I'm like. What was the point of signing her if she's not going to be fighting? Savage said, I think I exhausted my thoughts on this topic for that. Damn, man, you exhausted, man. So I'll get on down the road. I'll get on down the road talk about. I just want the UFC to build up the featherweight division like they said they would. Yeah, hey, no problem. Yeah, man. I mean, that's all we can ask for really on that. Yeah, why did they? That's what I'm saying. Like, why did they sign Daniel Wolf? I mean, I wouldn't have signed him, man, because any fights like throwing her, any fights like throwing her to the wolves. And there's not many more fighters they can really feed her unless they have bantamweights move up to fight her, just for that reason. I guess another question is too, like, is this really a good time to build the atomweight division though? Like, is 2020 is 2021 really a time to try to build a new division in the UFC when they had to cut so many fighters? You know, stamina. What's going on? Yeah, that's a question. What do you think about that, Roger? Marcus. 2021, is it a good time to build a brand new division though? Like, you think so? Roger said, I think yes. Okay. And why? Will it make more money than it costs to bring in these fighters, or is that what you're thinking? Oh, Stamina says the opposite. 2021 is absolutely the wrong time to consider atomweights. Every other women's division needs more urgent attention. I like your point. Yeah, let me know why you think it is a good time, Roger Marcus. You know, he gave me his little explanation. I want to know why now is a good time to build the 105-pound division. I mean, I can see that right there. I can see what Stamina is saying. It makes a lot of sense. To do so now could invite more mismanagement. These women deserve better, all of them. I like that. See, yeah, okay, good point. Roger said, I reserve the right to be wrong, but they can create a division very cheap. Because this was a thought I brought up Monday. You know, that's why I was asking y'all this question. You know, before I jumped off of here Monday, I was kind of thinking, is this a good time, you know, to build, 2021? Is it a good time to even like start from scratch and bring in new fighters and make big offers from different organizations to build this atomweight division? I was kind of on the fence about that. Much as I want to see the division, I kind of feel like the way Stamina does. You know, I was thinking that this is a time to build up these other divisions, and if you will, you know. Roger said they need content. Ernest Richardson said strawweight needs to get loosened up again at the top. Marcus said UFC has a tough coming up, and show will be focused more on the men. Yeah. Roger said the women in other divisions can almost fight as much as they want. Roger said, have you read the financial problems of the parent of the UFC? They are under strong cost-cutting measures. Strawweight has loosened up because no Joanna Andrade. That's what he was punking out. The UFC is one of their best products. I'll just reading these comments. Yeah, yeah. They're cutting. Wow, they're cutting staff. Yeah. But yeah, Marcus. What? Yeah, I heard about it. The Tough House is supposed to be in March, right? Stamina said the only woman who can fight as much as they want is Angela Hill and Chikagan to a lesser extent. Everyone else is floating and hopping. That's how Calderwood threw away her title shot. That's a good point. Yeah, like, yeah, going back to what Roger said, okay, they can fight almost as much as they want. The only fighters, yeah, that were active in 2021 fight like 4 times in winning, oh, you know, the 50-50 ratio. That were like 2-2. Yeah, it was Chikagan and Angela Hill that were really making something. Then there were just the other fighters like Barella and Hannah Cyphers. They were fighting as much as they want, but they were kind of just being like fed. But yeah, like Angela Hill and Chikagan were like only the two who were really, really active. There's a lot of floating too, man. There is like a lot of floating, man. Like I don't understand. Like, Yeah, like just really recovering and seeing what 2020 was like, where we just got out of. That would be like the toughest part of building an atomweight division, just from like the outside looking in. But Roger was saying it can be built cheap. You know, I'm sure it probably could, because there's going to be a lot of women that want to get back into fighting. A lot of the smaller women that want to fight right now. So yeah, they will probably take an offer to come in. Uh, Fighters like Sam Hughes, they jumped at the opportunity. When she had to fill in as a late replacement, she jumped in quick. So there'll probably be like fighters like Elise Anderson. She's an atomweight. She hasn't fought in like a year. So yeah, they'll probably find fighters like that they could build a division for cheap. Of course, they're not going to be like big offers for them. So there'll be fighters that will accept an offer. I'm not trying to get lowball, but there'll be fighters like that will help build a atomweight division off top. And then yeah, Alicia Zapatella, I'm sure they'll give her better than what she's making in Invicta. So there's gonna be fighters like her. Okay, Roger said the company which owns talent agency WME, Mixed Martial Arts League, UFC, and modeling agency IMG has launched cost-cutting measures amid the novel coronavirus panic. Endeavor has lined up $260 million term loan to boost its financial flexibility amid the novel coronavirus pandemic. Need my computer glasses here. Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. Wow. A financing deal adds to an existing $2.8 billion term loan at a time when Endeavor's live events operations, which include UFC, in which the firm owns a majority stake, and the entertainment business has been hit by the pandemic. Wall Street Journal first reported the additional $260 million loan Monday. Damn. Ooh, 3.6 billion in debt. Damn. Gonna take forever to recover in. That's crazy. Yeah, I remember you told me that. Their deal is yeah, because they weren't doing pay-per-views with Fox, right? I think we were talking about that last time. Yeah, you said ESPN, they play a flat fee for all of the events, right? They play a flat fee for fight night cards and and for pay-per-view cards. Different from the Fox setup. As I understand, they pay the UFC a flat fee as if the event brings in 200,000 buys. I mean, is that really a good thing though? If you play you play if you're paying a flat fee, because you're almost like saying every event's going to do this amount of, it's going to bring in this amount of people every single time, right? So it's always going to be kind of like a gamble, right? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, Fox was doing the free televised stuff. Yeah, that's why I don't see it as much on, right? Because yeah, when Fox had it, they used to play it UFC all day, just about. They used to play it on daytime shows and everything. They'd be playing like just replays a lot. Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's good for yeah, okay. Yeah, it's good for UFC because yeah, ESPN is handling all the production costs. Gotcha. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fox Sports too. Okay. Damn. So here's another question for you, Roger. Starting the division cheap, like you were saying, like an atom weight division, if you want to start it from scratch, like what does the UFC have to do that? Like, how do they start that division? And build it, like you were saying, in cheapest way possible. Because yeah, I know, like I was saying, some of these fighters, they will um, take offers. I know they'll take some offers because there's a lot of inactive strawweights that I've seen even on Instagram that they're saying UFC, you need to make this division so we can fight. They're actually, now I won't say begging, but they're hoping that they do so they'll have somewhere to fight. What would be the best cheapest way for them to make that happen without giving away secrets? You know what I mean? Like let them figure it out as a whole, right? That's what I was thinking too, man. Like, because when Marcus brought up the tough house, I was like, why are they making this tough house just focus on the men? Like, this would have been a good opportunity. Oh, okay. Yeah, the Ultimate Fighter. That's what I was thinking. Like, when I heard about this tough house coming up in March, I was like, okay, maybe they're gonna bring in these atom weights that they're talking about. But the contender series pays 5-5. Okay. Standard transition to UFC is 10-10. And yeah, there is a number of women that would come in and do that tough house, man. That would have been a good opportunity. Again, you could have had like Invicta fighters come over. Yeah, I can see that too. The male fighters, yeah, that exceeded their value, they'll get cut. So that's basically like the fighters who are making their money, their top money, but at the same time they're on like losing streaks, right? So those fighters that aren't really worth much, the kind of dead weight that keep losing and not bringing in crowds, they'll have to go, right? Yeah, if a guy fights on the undercard, he's getting paid. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if he's starting to, yeah, yeah, he's got to go. Well, yeah, I definitely see it. Yeah, that's the obvious cheapest ways to do it because a lot of women would jump at that opportunity. Ultimate Fighter, Tough House. You get your free house. You get your free room and board for, um, that period of time. You get to train. You get exposure. That was one of the best ways to do it. And even with the Contender Series, a lot of these girls that are already like just waiting, just to jump at the opportunity. So many fighters are going to be ready to go. They'll take the opportunity. So yeah, I could see that happening. I could definitely see that division just bringing in some money as well. in 2021. It could be done. I mean, it put together Fight Island in 2020, right? Amidst the pandemic. Veterans on the decline are at the greatest risk. Yeah, like you will. Uh-oh. Marcus got breaking news. Carolina is making a comeback in March. UFC comeback? No. Yeah, UFC comeback, huh? Oh, man. Oh, wow. I don't know if that's a good idea. Carolina's making a comeback in March. I don't know if that's a good idea. Mark, dang, man, she's making a comeback in March. Damn, that's right around the corner. You know, it ain't like she said I'm coming back in the fall. That's like right around the corner. I don't even know if she should be doing that. I mean, yeah, first thing you Google with Carolina comes up is the eye, so that's a dangerous thing, man. I don't think she should come back, man. UFC, the strawweight division ain't a division to play with. Yeah, I see. Hold on. We got to pull that up now. Let's see. All right, so Marcus Bell, let's see. Just brought in this news. Let's see. Let's pull it up where we got it. Hold on. Let's see. Carolina is looking to return in March or April. Nothing is signed yet, but she is getting ready for that date. Wow. I see this stamina. I see it on this website called MMA Rocks. I just pulled it up. It was just posted like an hour ago. Yeah, I ain't even looking at Twitter. Yeah, that stuff in Washington is crazy. Yeah, MMA Rocks. Yeah, that's the first. Yeah, I got it. So let's look at this, y'all. Y'all in the chat, y'all listening. What do y'all think? Everybody in the chat. I know what Stamina Marcus thinks, but anybody else? Let's see. Karolina Kowalkiewicz revealed the planned date of the next fight in the UFC. So Carolina visited the studio, let's see, in Europe. And the main thing that stood out here is March or April. Nothing is signed yet, but I'm getting ready for that date. I mean, yeah, you can look at the comments too, man. Comments of people like, why? I mean, that's not a really good idea for Carolina. I mean, the injury that Carolina suffered, that's not something. And she just got married too, right? Like, if I was her husband, that's not something I would really try to encourage her to do. I'm not trying to tell her to get back into the octagon after suffering a broken eye socket. It's happened to many boxers, and many of these boxers, they say that it's never going to be the same. You know, once you get that eye socket broken, it's your damaged goods. I mean, she was lucky. Look, she was lucky it was a broken eye socket and not like damage to her eye. You know, damage to the eye. You know, she's lucky she can still see. You know, so she shouldn't really play this game because it's not a game. You know, you see it time and time again in these combat sports. You know, fighters, they want to say, I still got something to prove. I don't care how young Carolina is. You know, fight years is different. You know, fight years is different. How old is Carolina anyway? I don't know. I kept thinking Carolina was like 27 or something. Carolina's 35 years old. You know, and 35 is pretty much up there for combat sport years. You know, if you want to do it in like, how do they do like dog years? You know, you got to add on a certain amount of years to it, and that'll tell you how old somebody is, especially when you factor in the punishment, how they lost, the type of damage they took. You know, that ages the person's brain and their ability to take punches. You know, once you start to factor all that in, that'll kind of tell you almost how many years a person has left in their life. You know, I've heard people tell me that. You know, especially when you're talking about brain damage, like once you start hitting a certain age, the brain's not going to be able to recover or process information anymore. It's going to start to like decay. Somebody told me that, like, the brain. They showed me a picture. Somebody showed me a picture of a boxing brain. If I can find that, like, it was about 3-4 years ago. Somebody showed me a picture of how the brain can look and how it starts to almost like just like deteriorate throughout the years. You know, when you get older and older, whenever things just don't build up strength anymore. You know, whenever you reach that certain age that you can't heal up as fast. So Savage said, I think she's coming back too soon, but maybe she needs to know early if she can still hang in the league. I don't know. I think it's too soon. Yeah, I just think it's too soon because I remember Kell Brook. I'm not familiar with Kell Brook, boxer from the UK. He got his eye socket broken by Gennady Golovkin by moving up 2 weight classes, which was crazy. He shouldn't have done. He moved up 2 weight classes, got his eye socket broken, came back like 10, 11 months later, which is still too soon to let an eye socket heal. Errol Spence broke the other eye socket. Ever since then, he's never been the same. He came back a few times, and every time he starts getting hit around the eyes, you know, he starts flinching a little bit. You know, he starts blinking. So I don't care if she's been out maybe a year or 2 years. That's going to be too soon. That's too much. It might just be time to call that quits. Once the area, you know, around your eyes starts to get damaged, you got to quit. You got to leave it alone. And this, you remember, like, I wouldn't get too tight about it. You know, it's all comes down to if the commission clears her to fight too, you know. Stamina said, if KK ain't done for good, then she needs to make Lipsky. She needs to make like Lipsky and head over to somewhere like ATT and get a whole new look in. She hasn't been training, let alone fighting. Can't end well. No. That's what I'm saying. March, April, that's crazy. March or April is crazy to come back, especially for somebody that well, look at Joanna. Joanna's been out about a year, but she's taking her time to come back. You know what I mean? Like, shoot, like she needs to take her time to come back if she's gonna do it. Roger said Carolina has to change her approach and be very defensive. I don't see that changing. Yeah, she brawls too much. That's what I'm saying. Like, she's just open. She's just way too open, and that's why she suffered the damage she has, because of her fighting style. You know, that's why she's damaged the way she is right now, because her defense is I can't even say lacking. It's almost non-existent. Savage 500-year WMMA dog. I'm telling you, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, somebody told me, it was like, yo, when you start to factor this in, when you start to factor in like how bad of beatings these fighters take, go ahead and like multiply it by how many years or whatever. Like, even then, you still got some 80-year-olds in better shapes than, you know, ex-fighters who were 40. Yeah, Marcus, I wouldn't let her fight either. In 2019, Kovacevic was diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease. To cope with the symptoms, Kovacevic now works with an endocrinologist and has adopted a vegan diet. Hashimoto's thyroiditis, also known as chronic lymphocytic thyroiditis, and Hashimoto's disease is an autoimmune disease in which the thyroid is gradually destroyed. She needs to retire. Yeah, I know somebody with the autoimmune disease like that, where they have to constantly be on steroids and their diet is changed. Um, it's rough, and you know that's not a lifestyle that their doctor would suggest them to be doing. So that's something that Carolina don't need to be doing. Yeah, so yeah, that's not a good look on her part. You know, and hopefully, you know, like some of these fighters say when they go back home and talk to their teams or they talk to their family, hopefully her husband says the right thing and says, nah, you know, we just got married, you know, you in your years where you need to just enjoy life now, your mid 30s, where you're still able-bodied to do other things. You know, you're still young somewhat. Well, yeah, you are young. You know, you're young to do other things now. So just just take just take it easy now. I don't think she'll ever become a strawweight champion, honestly, you know? I hate to sound harsh, but that's just the honest truth, especially when you got like these killers in the strawweight division. So it's really not worth a chance to take. Some people eventually develop hypothyroidism with weight gain, fatigue, constipation, depression, hair loss, and general pains. The UFC should pay her out a contract and have her do promotional work. I agree. Yeah, if she got maybe like 2 or 3 more fights, yeah, they should pay her out a contract. You know what's crazy is Misha Tate says like if she retires, when she retired and if she's to come back, she still has some fights to honor for the UFC if she's to come back. She can't fight for another organization. I didn't even know that. Yeah. So the same thing, you know, with Carolina, her case, I say, yeah, if I was the UFC, you know, just pay her out whatever her worth is for whatever the 2 or 3 fights she has in her contract, and that'd be it. Or yeah, like you said, do some promotional work or something. Eastern Europe, over there in Poland. Tanya Evinger. Tanya Evinger done fell off the face of the earth. Yeah, what happened to Tanya, man? Like, but yeah, for Carolina to come back, I'll talk about this in another video just to kind of fill y'all in on what I've, you know, learned too about some, you know, the fight game and the damage the brain takes. Um, I'll talk on that because that's a hard no for me. Because that's other stuff I cover on this channel too. You know, it's not just, I mean, yeah, it's the fight stuff too, but it's also the after effects of fighting. You know, I think that's something that a lot of people forget about, and why it's not good to stay in the sport any longer than your body will let you. You know, when your brain starts telling you something, it's time to go. Well, actually, you really don't want your brain to start you know what I mean? Like, you don't want your brain to start like swelling and hurting, saying, "Oh, we got to experience this first." It's kind of good to just know when to get out. You know, be smart in that way of the brain. You know, thinking ahead and saying, "No, we don't have to face damage to kick us out of the sport." You know, it's time to go whenever we feel like it. Because even looking at Joanna, like, you know, she was a solid champion, but you know, she's faced some damage, boy. Like that last fight out with her head swelling like that, I'm sure there is some long term damage. Like, I'm not wishing anything like that, but you know, I'm sure there is some long term damage in that. Hopefully, it doesn't show any effects in the later years, but even with Joanna, hopefully she becomes a little bit more slicker with her defense. And that's what's important about fighters too. Like when they get older and they know they get slower, you know, their style has to start changing. You know, when you're younger, yeah, you can recover from taking a certain amount of punches, but it's going to add up. Taking like 5, 10 big punches at 35 is different at 25, you know. Tanya's paperwork didn't get renewed. She's been gone a while. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was it for her. I think I never really heard her like officially retire, but yeah, I think she's just done now. She might leave it open. Oh, Lena Landsberg. You know that, yeah, Lena Landsberg. She did lose to Lena Landsberg, 2019. That was her last fight, and yeah, she hadn't been back since. Yeah, she was on 3 fight losing streak, and yeah, she's about 39 now. So yeah. But yeah, yeah, that was pretty much it. You know, what I wanted to talk about is the main topic. You know, this atomweight featherweight division. I mean, everybody made some good points here. Featherweight division is definitely a division that is, like I said, it's there. It just needs the fighters, and you know, it brings the excitement. I know a lot of people that would want to see those fights. You know, as long as you have the good fighters in there. Atomweight division, yeah, you could build it up pretty cheap. You know, bring in those fighters in the tough house. You know, sign a few other like major champions and bring them in. And yeah, I mean, you got a lot of fighters. You know, what I mean, you got a lot of fighters that could make it thrive too. You know, a lot of good, skilled atom weights from so many organizations that can make it work. So to me personally, I want either one because they both bring something to the table. You know, they both bring some type of excitement. I mean, that's why there's so many, you know, different divisions in boxing. I watch those divisions because, you know, they each bring something to the sport. What else? What else is going on in WMMA before I get up out of here? Oh, let's see what you got. Marcus Bell, Sarah Kaufman trying to be Betch's replacement for a fight coming up on the 16th. Let me see. Make it happen. I mean, yeah, it's not really like a major fight, so yeah, you could put her in there. I ain't seen Sarah Kaufman in a minute. Oh yeah, Rod said, coach sold you on the featherweight division. The problem is making it happen. Yeah, like I've always liked the division myself. You know, just seeing like the level it was on in Invicta and Bellator, and then I was like, maybe if the UFC gets their hands on it and they bring in the right fighters, they would have made it happen, you know, by now. But yeah, they didn't really. That's why I was excited when they did it, the Tough House, like 3 years ago. But they just never really, they never did it. They never made it anything. Yeah, I don't know what happened with Sarah Kaufman though. All right, Savage. Catch you later, man. Yeah, that's weird. Like, yeah, Sarah Kaufman, I just haven't heard much of from her. And, you know, she just kind of disappeared. And now all of a sudden, yeah, she wants to get back in there and be Betch's replacement. I mean, there's some other fighters they could snag and throw in there against Wu. So I guess Betch is going to be pushing back her retirement fight. Will she be able to fight after this surgery, you think? Let me look that up real quick. What is her surgery that she's having? Oh, she's had appendix removed. Okay, so Betch is having her appendix removed. And Roger said Kaufman chose to fight out her contract when she fought Valentina. I think Kaufman said something about the pay a while back. I might be wrong. So maybe they haven't. Okay. Roger says so maybe they have an unofficial policy to let anyone back in if they choose to do it and lose. Oh yeah, like if you want to opt out or something, you say okay, well you're gonna give up the option to ever come back, like a job does sometimes, right? If you don't put in a 2 week notice, some people say don't come back. I'll be surprised if UFC actually wait around as to let Betch have her last fight. To be honest, that's what I was wondering. I mean, because yeah, it's not like going to be like this big hold up for them on their part to say we need to make this Betch retirement fight happen. Yeah, I remember that. I was wondering what she was doing after that, Marcus. Yeah, I know she was competing in the PFL tournament. Yeah, that was the last I've seen of her, but yeah, I don't know, man. After she recovers from the the surgery to have her appendix removed, yeah, we'll see if she comes back like later on during the year, summertime or something. But they might just say this might be a time where they could just say, oh, you're having surgery. If you can't come back, we can just pay you out for that last fight, and that'll be it. That could be it too. Oh, okay, will be then. All right. Roger said her contract will be extended due to her ailment for the length of recovery or 6 months, whatever is longer. All right, yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Only fair, only fair. I wonder though, like, who's another bantamweight they can just put her in there with? I mean, you know, Sarge, she's been staying pretty active, so she could go in there. Actually, Julia Avila, she has a fight coming up, right? Yeah, who's she fighting to? Let me check that out. Julia Avila has a fight coming up in March, so yeah, she can't say her. Oh yeah, Stoyarenko. Ernest said Batch already had the surgery. She put an IG photo of her appendix removed. Yeah, it's a quick surgery. I know where I used to work, man. Just like that. Yeah, so yeah, she can start, her recovery time will be starting pretty soon. Marcus said Paige might be tough, but now she will get hit with knuckles. Yeah, yeah, I still got the interview coming up with Britain Hart too. She had to put off today. She's been kind of busy. So I told her, you know, the fight is in February, so, you know, we'll try to get in touch whenever she's not busy, and I'll bring her on. If I can get her on maybe like at 7 o'clock, I'll probably do like a live interview. You know, y'all can ask her some questions. But yeah, I was going to do that interview today, like I said, but yeah, she was pretty busy, so we're going to try to reschedule for another date. Yeah, I was thinking that too, man. Julia Avila don't play, man. You know, Julia Avila like to go in there and bang. Julia likes to, you know. Stoyarenko, she likes to go in there and bang too, but you know, I think that girl hits hard. Avila's, you know, an advocate for punishment. You know, she likes to go in there and dish it out. She can take it too, but she'll go in there and she'll hand it to you. Cause that last fight out with Stoyarenko, man, like that was a bloodbath, man. That was a mess. Stara said Paige finna take some damage. Oven ready pizza. Yeah, I mean, she's going in there her first fight against you know, professional boxer, and you know, a professional boxer and a professional bare knuckle boxer. So you know, she's gonna be in for a rude awakening here. You know, because they're seeing this as a fight that she can win, and then eventually get in there and become like the face of bare knuckle boxing. But I don't know, because you know, I think Beck is a much better boxer than Paige. You know, she doesn't have the option to kick in this fight, so it's gonna be tough if she gets past Britain Hart and gets to a Beck Rollins fight. But I don't really even see her getting past Britain Hart though, man. To be honest, you know, just seeing the skill set of a boxer and a bare knuckle boxer versus what Paige has done on her feet as a stand-up fighter, you know. Okay. But yeah, I'm about to get up out of here. I think that's about it for the news as far as like major news. I see, you know, Marcus coming here with that Carolina news. That's I can't say that's some news that I want to hear, but damn, yo. Okay. I will show y'all this though. Shout out to the WMMA rankings website. I see Chris Cyborg said she's unimpressed with the level of competition Kayla Harrison is fighting. She's eager to move up to 155 pounds and give her a real match. All right. Yep, no problem, Roger. Adrian catch up. Oh, crazy. Yeah, Cyborg says she's ready to move up to 155 pounds and give her a real match. So she's, that's something, man. She's giving her an option. She ain't gonna make her move down to 145. She's gonna move up to 155 to fight her. That's what's up. So Chris Cyborg said this about Kayla Harrison. I saw she made the weight. I didn't watch the fight, but a couple of fights I've seen her. I believe she's fighting girls below her skill level. The girls are not on her level, but she's doing great. If this is a strategy from her manager, of course she's going to get it. But I believe this year she's going to fight for PFL at 155. If she's the champion of this tournament, for sure, I would like to make a match with her. I believe all the fans would want to watch. I think it would be more so of a win-win if Cyborg moved up to 155 to fight Kayla Harrison, because that would be another organization, another belt in another organization, and it would be at another weight class that she hasn't fought at yet. That would be her 5th belt in another organization. That would be PFL at 155 this time. Yeah, I didn't want to see that fight, Marcus. Cyborg versus Cat. I didn't want to see that. I mean, if it happens, it happens, but it's not really a fight I was asking for. So Chris Cyborg said, I want to go up to 155, but before I retire, I want to help build the division. Let's see if she like to do a match, one real match. I never had the opportunity to fight at 155. All the people tell me to go low. Chris Cyborg walks around at 170, 175. 155 would be better. I never had a chance, but for sure, this is one dream that can come true. Stamina said Chris shouldn't lower herself. Kayla needs to put the hours in. Chris and Amanda are the apex of competition for Harrison. So win or lose, very little after that will matter. I think for Chris to take the fight, it would just kind of be a milestone for her before she retires, because she would get another belt, and she could beat somebody that everybody feels like is, a lot of the casual fans feel like Kayla Harrison is this great fighter already, but she's not. The downside is if Kayla Harrison takes the fight, she could mess up her potential to be great. That fight could be really damaging to her. So yeah. Not really a fight we're screaming for. I think everybody wants to see Cyborg Nunes too, more so than Cyborg Kayla Harrison. I think a lot of people who just don't like Kayla Harrison, they would want to see her fight Chris Cyborg just for the fact they know Chris Cyborg could outclass her and possibly finish her in less than 5 rounds, So I'm not on that bandwagon either, though. Like, I don't want to just see her go in there and get damaged and get, beaten like that, where she just loses everything. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see Kayla go that route. I want to see Kayla build herself up, and I want to see a good fight, basically. I want to see a fight that has potential, I mean, right now, do I think Kayla Harrison's ready? No. Does she need to stop calling out Chris Cyborg? Yes. She needs to take the right fights that'll make her prepare for that. I mean, yeah, it sounds exciting when Chris Cyborg she says it, because it's just a lot. It's a lot of good exposure for her. Because the first time I'm reading, I'm like, oh yeah, another belt at lightweight at PFL. You could scoop that up and it would look good on you. But would it really be the best fighting the best. No, not really. That fight is not at all the best fighting the best. So yeah, for Chris and her team, yeah, they would be like, yo, let's take this thing. Let's get her up out of here. It's money for us before we retire, you know. But even as like not a big fan of Kayla Harrison, I definitely got to say, yeah, don't take that fight yet. You know, stop talking. You know, just stop talking and keep fighting the right fighters. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about that. Kayla Harrison versus Chris Cyborg at 155. Again, that was shout out to WMMA rankings. Saw that on their site just now. I just you know, just looking at it was like, whoa. I thought it was about to be made. All right, so let's see. I'm just reading something here. Well, I was reading this article on Miranda Maverick. Oh, she's wow. Okay, all right. So Miranda Maverick, she said she would love to fight Antonina or even Caitlin Chikagian. That's some interesting news too. Yeah, I know, like the Antonina fight. Yeah, that would be a good fight. That would be more ideal before it jumped to Caitlin Chikagian, just because Caitlin has the that higher ranking and she is that more experienced. I think the Antonina fight would be more durable for Miranda. You know, more doable. But yeah, that's some stuff I'm gonna read into and, you know, let y'all know my thoughts on that if I do a video or two on that. But yeah, I'm about to get up out of here. Marcus, Kayla might be on suicide watch if she fights Miranda not ready for Caitlin yet. No, I don't think so either. Like, honest thoughts from the outside, just because, you know, of what Caitlin's done for the game, for the flyweight division, and, you know, just her activity and her awkward style, that can promote problems for any fighter in the flyweight division right now. So yeah,